Today, the stock market went on a wild ride. The S&P 500 bounced up all the way to 3,700 or almost 3,800 and then quickly lost those gains. Why is that? Well, there was a lot of really weird conflicting news today. We saw that the US jobs report came out adding 261,000 jobs in a robust labor market. And this is what you would think is good news. You would think that, oh, the US is adding jobs. This is great. And maybe the market did think that, right? And that's why we went up. But this actually means that if people are getting more jobs, people are making more money, spending is going to increase, and that means inflation is going to get worse. And so it's actually not necessarily a good thing for the market. It means that the Fed is probably going to have to continue to be aggressive, because the goal of the Fed right now is to sort of break our backs, to stop the spending. They don't want us to necessarily have money to spend right now. So this is actually, strangely enough, not good news for the market, right? A strong labor market. The Fed's going to be raising rates, guys, and they're going to be continuing aggressively with news like this. Now, this next piece of news is kind of off topic, well, completely off topic, but Florida cases of Havana Syndrome are increasing amongst FBI agents. Guys, there's somebody out there, there's some type of high-tech mafia that has neurological weapons that is targeting FBI agents. And the ones that are trying to figure out who's targeting them are being, actually targeted even more. So the FBI agents who are trying to figure out where Havana Syndrome is coming from are being targeted. That means that somebody's literally attacking the United States with neurological weapons. Very concerning. Thought I'd just throw this in there. Anyway, back to crypto. What we see today is that Bitcoin has pumped up above 21,000 today. But the pump is kind of quickly fading back to the 128-day SMA. And why is that happening? Well, like we just discussed before, the stock market pumped up because I guess they thought the jobs report was good. Then they realized, all right, well, this actually means the Fed's going to be tightening even more if the labor market is strong. The market begins to come down. The US dollar index is still within this parabolic expansion pattern. Every parabola breaks down into a larger parabola, right? And we're still in this parabolic expansion, as I call it. And so today the DXY came down sharply, but is finding a little bit of support here and is still maintaining this uptrend. So the US dollar index has not actually confirmed any type of breakdown just yet. Looking at the daily chart for the S&P, we're still just well within this downtrend, etc., etc. Now the data is very conflicting here because Bitcoin is breaking out of a 2-year-long RSI down trend line right now. We are actually breaking out of this. There's that, right? There's actually a potential macro trend shift signal, though the weekly has not closed yet. And if we dump going into Sunday, well, maybe this signal might not be confirmed. So we'll have to wait until Sunday to know for sure if we're actually breaking the 2-year-long weekly RSI. It's still up in the air. It might happen. It might not. We got to wait for confirmation. And yesterday on Twitter, I was saying that the Bitcoin chart appears as if it's forming a long-term bottom, but the stock market looks lopsided. And I'd be more confident in Bitcoin's bottom if the stock market wasn't trending down. And we're still trending down as we're seeing today. I'm kind of concerned about the economy still. And then I followed that up after today, Bitcoin started falling after the pump, and I said, well, the stock market does disagree with Bitcoin's pump, and the pump is fading, which was my concern yesterday. So that's what I've been talking about on Twitter recently. It does look like Bitcoin has formed a long-term low, and I really wouldn't be surprised for the market to bounce here. But it's just difficult to see it happening. It's difficult to see that playing out if the stock market is just trending down. Right? There's a lot of bearish pressure, and I think most pumps right now are sort of going against the trend. The trend is still down for the global markets. The question is, is Bitcoin going to pump? Are we going to dump? And to be honest, I'm really kind of in the middle. I'm not super bullish and I'm not super bearish. And sometimes that is actually the place to be. not super bullish, not super bearish. Because what we see, such as 2015 era for Bitcoin, in 2015, the market wasn't super bullish or super bearish as it moved towards the macro trend line. It was very, very stable. Same thing with 2018. The market wasn't super bullish, nor was it super bearish, super stable as it moved towards the downtrend line. And here we are again. I think we're in the same spot, guys, where we're not going to be super bullish, we're not going to be super bearish until we move past that trend line. So, a lot of other influencers might, come on YouTube and scream super bullish, super bearish stuff. But I'm telling you, the most realistic expectation at this point is probably to expect no significant change in price over the next 6 months. Meaning that, yes, Bitcoin could pump to 30K, we could dump to 15K, but ultimately in 6 months, we're going to be at these prices. No significant change in price is my current outlook for the market for the next at least half a year. Which I know it's not the sexiest prediction, it's not the coolest and most, mind-blowing thing to say, but it's the most realistic. And a lot of influencers like to get your clicks by just saying crazy stuff, but I'm telling you guys, we probably aren't going to see all too much. Now, let me give you a depiction of what I mean. And so on my Twitter, I'm going to my Twitter here, I was saying something like this. Where if the, best case, the market pumps up to 25,000 and people say, see, the bull market started, see? And then we dump down back to 18K. I told you Bitcoin's going to 10,000. And again, no significant change in price. That is my outlook, guys. No significant change in price until April of 2023. So, it's going to be probably a lot more boring sideways stuff, regardless of any short-term pumps, short-term dumps. Sideways, guys. Sideways into the macro trend line is the most likely outcome. And the positive thing about that is that you have time to accumulate. Now, this is another metric that I've been keeping a close eye on over the past many months, and that is the Bitcoin whale wallets, 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin whale wallets. And the reason why I look at this metric is because it is a leader. It is a leading indicator. Check this out, guys. The 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin whale wallet address bands. The blue line is the address band, right? And when we come up to a peak, right before we hit 65, you can see that we top in the whale wallet holdings, and then it comes down. And as it's coming down, we find a top. So this literally led the market. It led the market. It came down, price lagged, and topped after, then followed. See the address band's bottom here? They start going up. Price lags, but it follows. The Bitcoin price reaches 69, but quickly fades. Quickly that pump fades. Why? Because the address band is going sideways. And then we see that since then, the address band has just been decreasing. So if we're going to look for a major pump, I actually want to see the 1,000, 10,000 whale wallet address band make a significant low and a bounce, and then price would likely lag and follow. So this is a really, really key metric. This has been one of the most accurate on-chain metrics. A lot of on-chain has been very inaccurate, very unreliable. This one, it seems to be the best one to look at for me because, again, Bitcoin has not really found any significant rallies. Why? Because this address band has not seen any significant bounces at all. And so if it does finally get a bounce of some kind, if the address bands tick up, then we might see Bitcoin follow. So this is chainexposed.com. Go to address bands, balances, 1,000, 10,000 Bitcoin. So check out the whale address bands right there, because this one I think is going to be a really good indicator for a trend shift. And so at the end of the day, it really seems like Bitcoin has to have the stock market agreeing with its price action, because today, Bitcoin pumped up, stock market pumped up, But why is this pump quickly fading? The stock market. The stock market pump also faded. So in order for Bitcoin to really bounce, the stock market has to agree. It needs to agree. And I want you guys to look at this chart here. This is the VIX lined up with the S&P 500. And what you can see is that the VIX, the volatility index, the fear index, the VIX for the stock market pretty much always calls the bottoms. And we have not seen a blow off top for the VIX yet, right? This is 2001 crash, 2008 crash. The VIX always peaking. This was the COVID dip. And so far, nothing from the VIX. No major blow off top, which means we have not seen full capitulation in the stock market just yet. And that's what we need to see, is a huge spike in the VIX with major capitulation in the stock market. Maybe Bitcoin dumps a little bit more if that happens. But once we get that signal, then we can be sure that there's been some sort of, peak in emotion, some sort of blow off top in fear, right, in the volatility index. And that's when I think we can be more confident. We just haven't gotten those extreme capitulation signals for the stock market yet. That's what we're waiting on now. Though again, like I said, it looks like Bitcoin has formed a long-term bottom. It appears that way, but the stock market needs to agree. And once again, until April, guys, it's likely that Bitcoin goes sideways until April of 2023. So probably not all too much is going to happen for the next half year. But that's it for me today, guys. If you have not already, take advantage of the $4,000 trading bonus using my BitGet link below. I don't know how long this offer is going to be available, so make sure you take advantage of it now. Deposit into futures, leave it there for 5 days, and you get up to $4,000 in trading bonuses. Check it out below. I'll see you all in the next video.